Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we're putting on our investigative hats to tackle something huge, dismantling a massive myth in the world of digital security. We're looking at a concept that basically forms the backbone of how countless businesses try to identify users, prevent fraud, and optimize their services online: residential IP intelligence. For years, the digital world has been operating on a fundamental assumption about how we track and identify people on the internet. But what if the very foundation of that tracking is built on shifting sand?
Think about it. Is your fraud prevention blindly trusting a broken system? The stakes here are incredibly high. Businesses are relying on really outdated assumptions to make critical split-second decisions about who gets into their networks and who gets blocked. And relying on those assumptions, it might be causing major revenue loss and completely unnecessary false blocks of legitimate users. It's this quiet crisis happening right now behind the scenes of almost every major website and application.
Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to examine the IP intelligence myth, unpack the technical failures behind it, explore proxy and mobile chaos, look at the false security trap, and finally, figure out how to build better digital defenses. Let's get right into it.
All right, part 1, the IP intelligence myth, and this false promise of perfectly identifying users. So, residential IP intelligence services analyze IPs assigned to home users, promising these really deep insights about a user's location, device type, and network characteristics. On paper, it sounds perfect, right? Just look up the IP, enforce some geolocation rules, and detect the fraud. The whole industry operates on this grand illusion that one IP address equals one user at one fixed location. And businesses desperately want to believe this clean mathematical equation because it makes network security so easy to enforce. You flag one bad IP and you assume, boom, you're blocking one bad actor sitting at a specific desk. But honestly, that one-to-one relationship is a total fantasy now. The internet simply doesn't work that way anymore.
Moving to part 2, unpacking the technical failures. Let's look at why modern internet routing completely breaks those old rules.
First up, DHCP pools. Because ISPs are constantly recycling these dynamic blocks across hundreds of customers, sometimes jumping regions or even entirely different cities, reverse DNS and WHOIS records lag hopelessly behind the reality on the ground. Any intelligence tied to an IP ages incredibly fast. The data you buy might be completely obsolete within hours of it being assigned. Attempting to classify these IPs based on static geolocation is just a massive uphill battle against the architecture itself.
And then we have CGNAT. With IPv4 exhaustion, a single public IP often represents dozens of completely unrelated users. Think of it like a massive apartment building where everyone shares a single return address on their mail. If one person in that building sends something malicious and you flag that return address, you are instantly blocking all the innocent customers in the exact same building. The blast radius of an IP ban under CGNAT is huge. It completely destroys that one-to-one identity relationship we talked about.
Part 3, proxies and mobile chaos, blurring the lines of digital identity.
Now, if DHCP and CGNAT weren't enough of a headache to scramble tracking attempts, mobile networks throw the entire system into utter chaos. The expectation is that an IP stays in a static location, but the reality? A mobile IP can literally jump from Paris to Lyon in just 5 minutes. Mobile carriers constantly recycle IPs across massive geographic areas. Yet so many IP intelligence services still treat mobile traffic as just a subset of regular residential traffic. I mean, come on. It makes a complete mockery of location tracking accuracy when an IP address is bouncing across the country faster than a high-speed train.
Furthermore, we absolutely have to look at residential proxy realities. Proxy providers offer pools of IPs that route traffic directly through legitimate user devices and ISPs. Users can access IPs from over 140 different countries, completely indistinguishable from real users. Why? Because it literally is real residential traffic. Unless an intelligence service has some direct backroom partnership with the ISP, there is zero reliable technical fingerprint to separate a proxy user from a standard home user. Utilizing protocols like HTTP, UDP, and SOCKS, these proxies evolve way faster than traditional behavioral patterns and open proxy scanning tools. Relying purely on static IP lists to catch them is like bringing a knife to a gunfight in a never-ending cat-and-mouse game.
Section 4. The false security trap. What is the actual cost of getting this wrong?
We need to connect these technical failures back to the real-world business impact. When you rely solely on IP data, everybody loses. Fraudsters? They easily exploit the inaccuracies in proxy networks, leading to way more risk for your platform. Legitimate users? They face completely unnecessary blocks simply because they inherited a recycled IP or share a CGNAT with a bad actor, leading to immense frustration. And the business itself? You're making critical security and marketing decisions based on entirely garbage data, and the ultimate result is just lost revenue.
But wait, actually, let me backtrack slightly. Is it all entirely useless? No, absolutely not. When used thoughtfully, IP intelligence can actually be quite powerful. For example, modern platforms that combine IP reputation scoring with traffic analysis can detect specific VPN providers with up to 98% accuracy in real-world scenarios. So it's not that the tool itself is totally broken, it's that over-relying on it as some magical silver bullet is broken.
Finally, Part 5, building better digital defenses through a multi-layered solution.
If the old way of staring at a single IP address is outdated, what should businesses actually be doing? Well, here is the structural shift you need. Step 1. Stop relying solely on IP data. Treat it as just one tiny piece of a much larger puzzle. Step 2. Layer your security tools. Step 3. Monitor trends continuously. You've got to stay hyper-aware of dynamic IP assignments and update your security rules accordingly. You really can't just set it and forget it anymore.
Here's how that builds into a really comprehensive strategy. You must combine IP data with modern alternatives. Implement behavioral analytics. Look at how a user interacts with your site, not just where they're supposedly coming from. Utilize device fingerprinting to actually identify the hardware and software configuration of the visitor. You can even integrate trusted proxies into your own testing and monitoring. And most importantly, cross-correlate suspicious activity. Don't rely solely on one single indicator to make a critical decision. Corroborate it with other abnormal behavior. This is how you actually verify user identity and stop automated threats effectively today.
Which leaves us with this final thought for today's explainer. In the never-ending cat and mouse game of the web, are you relying on outdated traps? As proxy networks and internet infrastructures continue to evolve at lightning speed, holding on to the myth of perfect IP tracking will only leave you vulnerable. It's time to rethink the entire security stack and embrace a multi-layered approach. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep questioning the systems, keep layering your defenses, and I'll see you in the next explainer.